And we are live. What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Thank you guys for joining me today. We're going to be building at least starting the build of the Voron 0.1 LDO kit. I've got a bunch of different camera angles set up for everybody. So we've got the same one as last time, which is the kind of over the shoulder, sort of over the shoulder. I moved it a little bit so that way I don't worry about bumping it, and the overhead, so that way top down view. And then I also moved the side camera to a different angle that I think is going to be better for a kind of a close-up shot. So I'm excited. I have been getting everything as ready as possible because for those of you that don't know, the first Voron, which I don't think you can see it behind me. Let's see. Oh yeah, you can. The first Voron I built off stream, and it took a really long time. So using what I know from the first build, my goal is to make it a much easier build. And so I've got everything kind of set up here. I've got all of the hardware from the unboxing nicely labeled. And the goal for today, we'll see how things go. But the goal for today is primarily to do the frame portion of things, which to make it easier, only brought out the frame stuff, the couple of parts that we'll need for the bed, the linear rail stops, and that's primarily it. We've also got this awesome piece of marble that I ran around town on Saturday, I think, trying to find. The original Voron I built over on this table off to the side, which you can't see, but it has a much flatter top surface, while this table or this surface has quite an uneven top. So I went around trying to find a piece of granite or marble to build it on, and I know that Nero had said that if you just go around to like local countertop places, a lot of them will have scrap. Well, that wasn't the case for me. I started off with a local hardware store that gave me a recommendation, and it was mostly construction yards that basically had to order the stuff, or there wasn't a lot of fabricators. Fabricators are the ones that should have like scrap pieces. So I ended up finding a floor and decor place that had a piece of marble, and so we've got this all set up, and we should be ready to rock and roll. How's everybody doing today? Before we jump into it too, I did want to give a quick shout out and thank you to Fabreeko. They sponsored this LDO Voron 0.1 kit. They have been absolutely awesome. They are a small company based out of the US, so if you are interested in one of these kits, links will be in the description to where you can find out more or pick up one for yourself. So I'm trying to think, do I want to give it a minute here? Let me see if DC jumps in. I know that, oh, DC is here. Hey DC, what's going on? I was gonna say, I wanted to make sure you were here in case you were wanting to kind of build along. Blake got his kit today, awesome. Hey Carl, I wanted a 0.1, but a smaller build plate than my Preloading Mini was a deal breaker for me. That's fair. I think that's kind of the only factor that is keeping some people from wanting to make one of these, is that the build volume is just too small for them, which I totally get. If the Voron 0.1 was going to be my only printer, it would definitely be too small, but because I have, you know, quite a few mid-size and large format printers, having something small that is just consistent, quick, and can knock out little parts is awesome for me. But yeah, I definitely can understand that depending on your specific use case, that it might be a little bit too small for that. Blake got the Formbot kit, looks good. I need to print the parts. What are you gonna do for your colors? Speedy's here, what's going on? I luckily found a countertop place that had a giant piece of quartz from a sink cut out. Yeah, I kept thinking I was gonna get lucky, and I felt like this was pretty fair. It's a 2 foot by 3 foot slab of marble, probably maybe ½ inch. And I think I got it for like under 30 bucks, which seemed fair compared to what everybody else wanted for a thick slab that I saw on like OfferUp or something like that. So let's go ahead. I think we'll start off. We will go over to the actual manual. All right, so Voron 0.1 manual. Let's see what we've got. So printed parts are done. You know what? The cart is moving on me. Let me go ahead and lock the wheels. Oh, that's the last thing I want, is the cart sliding away from me while we're trying to build. Okay. So yeah, parts are, I pretty much have all the parts printed, which I showed off on stream. Where the hell did I put them? Pretty much got all the parts done. The only things missing are the top hat parts and the panel mounts, which I was going to do over the weekend, but I got really busy with next Saturday's main video on the main channel. So the only thing I really printed over the weekend was, where are they? M2 nuts? No, M3 nuts. I printed out a ton of these guys. Let's see. Can you guys see this? Yeah. So these are the little nut trap things. I don't know how well that's focusing. Doesn't look like it's focusing very well, but you guys can see that. So these basically just seat the little M3 nuts, so that way when I slide them into place, they won't be going all over the place. And I printed out 150 of them, which should be more than enough for the build. So before we get to the actual final portion, which will be the top hat and those side panels, I will of course print out all those parts, but we've got everything we need for at least today to get started. What's going on average? Those look all too familiar. Yeah, I know you printed out a bunch of them too, man. Okay, so printing's cool, good. We've got all the hardware nice and organized for what we need. Introduction. I'm gonna go through everything as if this was the first time building it, because for anybody that is going to be building this along or that's referencing this video after the fact, I want to make sure that I'm as thorough as possible. So bind joint basics, blind joint. Blind joint provides a cost-effective and rigid assembly method. The head of the, this is the ball head? Button head. Button head? Why, I can't think right now. It is the, yeah, button head, okay. So button head screws basically slide in and then they will slot into the 1515 extrusions, and then there's usually like a little pass-through hole that you can fit a small little Allen key into. Ball end driver, 2mm hex driver, which we've got some 2mm hexes thanks to the LDO kit. The thing I did not do was organize the extrusions at all, which maybe I should do just for this. We'll see. Okay, so frame is what we're going to be starting off doing today. And this, this I will not miss. So the first time I built this, I thought this was just for like informational purposes and not, hey, this is what you need to do right away. So let's go ahead and do this first. I'm going to go ahead and grab, in the LDO kit, there actually is, let's see, in the LDO kit, there is actually this little soldering iron adapter. Let me show you, bring it over here so you guys can see it, maybe. Focus. There we go. So this will work with most standard soldering irons. The soldering iron I use for the heat inserts is a kind of fancy soldering iron. I've had it for about 8 years and it doesn't take these standard, I guess, soldering iron tips. And so I am going to just use what's on mine, but if you have this in the LDO kit, this is definitely going to be super handy. So let me grab the soldering iron. This thing has been awesome. I've used it for so many projects over the years, and it heats up in like, I don't know, like 10 seconds, but it uses these instead. Let me show you guys. Ugh. So it's this long piece that basically slots in. So that's the reason why I'm not gonna use it. I'm just gonna use this instead. So let's go ahead and let's go. Prep does make it sound like something that can be put off. Cool, yeah, let's do this angle. So first thing we're going to be doing is grabbing this little piece, which is part of the bed. Let me move, I'm trying to think here. How do I want to do this so things are, isn't exactly the biggest table. So let's slide all of these extrusions. Okay, those are out of the way. And then we've got brass inserts, which we are using the correct ones. That was also an issue the first time when I sourced them myself. The inserts that I had a wider outer diameter that was really problematic. All right, so we are going to, looks like that's a good angle so you guys can see it. And it says heat inserts. that looks correct from the inside. Okay, we'll go ahead and power on the soldering iron. So it's heating up, and just so you can see how fast this thing heats up. It's heating up, it's heating up, it's heating up. And of course now it's not heating up as quick as it normally does. That's so funny. Normally this thing heats up in a couple seconds. I wonder if I screwed it up. Let's try this. I think I screwed it up. I did. Let's see. Let me reseat this. Of course, I say it's such a good soldering iron. It's probably from when I pulled this out, because I haven't actually pulled this guy out in a really long time. Okay. Let's try it again. We're off to a good start. Oh god. I think that it might have actually screwed it up. It's not heating up at all. I'll try to seat it one more time, and then if this doesn't work, I'll actually grab the main soldering iron that I use. Nope, it's working now. Okay, it's heated up. Oh man. I should have probably pulled out my, I have a filter as well, but because we're only doing 2 inserts today, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. That looks good. Hopefully that's not an omen for how things are gonna go today. Oh, that went a little far, but it's still okay. We'll push this one in here in further. Yeah, it should be okay. Okay. Well, one of them is a little bit further in, but it shouldn't be a big deal because these are passed through. But basically, you want to insert those 2 inserts right away, because this screwed me up the first time I built this. Electrical short. Okay, cool. So that is done. I'm going to unplug the soldering iron because we won't actually be needing it. Yeah, usually I do a pretty good job of getting them in fairly straight. I've got like a decent technique, but again, like trying to get a good angle so that you can see them going in on stream is not something I normally consider, but yeah, that should be fine. I know they do have they have little jigs that you can print out that make it where it kind of attaches to your soldering iron and you can make sure things go in straight, but it hasn't been problematic enough to where I've done something like that. Usually just doing them by hand is gonna be fine. And so the next thing we also wanna do is grab one of the cable chain links, and the only thing I don't know is that on the end there is one that's slightly longer than the other. So let me see, based off this image here, it looks like it's probably the shorter one. Yeah, we're gonna go with the shorter, we'll go with the shorter one. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and just take off this, actually, no, it has to be this one. So it has to be so if you look at the links, like this one basically has pegs, while this one has the kind of open cavity that snaps on. And so based off the image, it has to be the one that has that open cavity that snaps on. So we are going to take this off. Try not to break it. And then we will go ahead and attach it like this. Putting the inserts in about 90% of the way and then pressing them on a flat surface helps me get them in nicely. Yeah, it depends though. Like, I don't know if you've built the Voron, but it's easier to me if it's a brass insert that needs to go all the way in, like the depth of where you're inserting it is the depth of the brass insert. But on a lot of the parts we're inserting them into on this, you want them like flush with the surface. And so I do my best to like eyeball the top portion of the brass insert to make sure it's aligned, but it's tough to get it exactly every single time. Is this the one I'm building for you? Exactly. I stick mine on the end of a long screw and then heat them with a blowtorch. That's gangster. All right, so the next thing we need is some two M3x8 button heads. M3x8, M3x8. There we are. I tried to get all of the right tools out that I would need for this right away, so let's go ahead and insert these in. My hands are shaky. Well, they're going in, so that's at least, that's the main thing. As long as the screws can thread in, then it should suffice. And then I'm gonna go, I want it fairly tight, but I don't wanna, obviously, because it's just plastic, I don't wanna over torque it. Cool, that should be good. It's just for the cable chain where we're gonna route the, all the bed's cables, so that should be good. And that was one of my screw ups the first time, was I did not assemble this piece at the beginning, and so we're already doing better than on my first build. I've actually done that too, it works. I think I've seen other people talk about using a torch, but is it because you guys don't have soldering irons, or you just don't want to use your good soldering iron for the inserts? Because I will say that this soldering iron that I just used was my main one, and then after I started using it for a lot of the brass inserts, it did definitely screw up the actual tip of the soldering iron, which luckily, again, I've got another one that's really good. But okay, so we are done with this page. Inserts done, remove the end link we did. We won't be showing the chain in later pictures, so that is good. This design relies heavily on heat inserts. Make sure you got the proper inserts, which I did not the first time I built this. If you've never worked with heat inserts before, we recommend you watch a guide. Okay, cool. So we will place this off and out of the way. And now we are moving on to these, which if you don't have the LDO kit, you will have these printed nut adapters, which I do not like. Luckily, if you have the kit, then you've got these guys, which make it so much easier. So we are going to just take out, looks like all 5 of them, even though I don't think we use them all right now. I just want to make sure that they've all got the same, yeah, they've all got the same threads drilled in. So 1, 2, 3, 6 threads. So that is definitely nice. We get to skip this step. Coffee time. Yeah, get some coffee. I've been drinking coffee a lot more lately, even though I'm more of an iced coffee person, and it is a mostly cream iced coffee, but definitely on stream days, I drink coffee because I am not a morning person. And although it's only, it's noon, which technically isn't morning, noon to me is still morning. I am a night owl, so I definitely need this. Like dad smash button, folks. Like that smash button, folks. All right, so we are good with this. All right, now it says we need the E extrusion. So again, I didn't separate the extrusions, which I'm now regretting a little bit. Let's see, so small ones, I'm actually gonna use this side table. So the E extrusions have 1 hole only. I think all the extrusions, if I'm not mistaken, are 200 except for the short ones, but let me confirm this one moment. I knew that there was some sort of prep that I could have done that would have sped this up a bit. But yeah, definitely. Okay, so yeah, they're all 200 mil extrusion, so I don't have to worry about that. And then we are looking for E, which only has one hole. This one has no hole. Let's go side view. There you go. No hole. So the ones without any hole are going to be B and A. So I think that on the LDO kit, everything is tapped. So like on this bomb, A is not tapped, but I'm pretty sure all of the LDO extrusions are tapped. So the A and the B category. So let's do A and B together. There's a hole in that one. There's no hole, yep, tapped. Okay, so this should be, there should be 6, right? Yeah, so 1A and 5B, which we're going under the same exact one. So we'll put these over here off to the side. I think it'll be easier if we only grab them as we need them. Okay, next we've got 2 holes, which is the C extrusion, which it looks like no, that's not right. So C has 2 holes, and then D has 2 and 1, so that should be a C. That should also be a C. This is a D. That is a C. Wait, that's not right. Oh, let me put it there for now. Single hole. Single hole. You go there, single hole, and single hole. Okay, so this says that there's only 2 C extrusions, but I'm seeing the equivalent of how am I seeing 4? What am I missing? Oh, there we go. Yeah, so again, H extrusions, which do have a thread. Oops. And let's see here, let me show you guys a screen so you can see what I'm saying. So the issue, well, it's not an issue, it actually makes it easier. But for example, on this one, the H extrusion is 200 mil long. It has 2 holes and it has the M3, it's tapped on the ends. While the C extrusion has same thing, 200 mil, 2 holes, and it's not tapped. While on the LDO, they just tap all of them because it's not going to hurt anything, but it makes it easier to organize. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay, cool. All right, we should be good. And then we have got the E extrusions. Okay. All right, easy peasy. The hot end comes with, yeah, the dragonfly on this one. Is Hector here? Hey, what's going on? LDO extrusions are all tapped on both ends. Yeah, so that makes it easier. In a few weeks, we will have a version of those bars that include the right size for AB motors too, not just rails. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, they definitely are going to make this a lot easier. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab 2 of these. Let's go ahead and do a side view. And we are going to just take these guys and slide them in. But we need to also pay attention to where the hole is. If you look in the extrusion, there's 1 hole. So we're going to slide them in from the side furthest away from that hole. We'll slide in 2 of them. Like so. And then it says, mind the hole position. We do our best to call out things. Maybe in a doubt, please refer to the CAD model, which I didn't even download. I might need to. Then we are going to need the centered rails, or these guys, which are the printed parts that will actually help you center the LDO linear rails. And it says the carriages are designed to slide along the rail easily. This unfortunately also includes sliding off the rails. Dropping a carriage will damage it. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and grab 2 of the linear rails. I did not do any prep on the rails because based off of LDO's kit, they are stainless and they are relatively prepped and you don't need to add any grease or lube until after. So that is exactly what we're going to do. I can already tell compared to the initial linear rails that I ordered for that build off of AliExpress, these look way cleaner. So let me grab some scissors. We'll just open them up as we need them. So I'll cut out 2 of them. Wow, these are really in there, aren't they? We might have to cut closer to them. Let's see. There we go. And they do have little like pad things. Those are to keep the actual rail from sliding off, or the block itself. So leave those in place until you have to take them off, and be mindful, because that's what it's basically saying in the instructions is if somehow the block flies off, that is a great way to damage them and lose some of the little ball bearings. Okay, so we got 1 of them, maybe. There we go. They're definitely, I mean, they are much smoother. I think a little bit of tab to slide, which again, I'll clean these up after, but these are way smoother than the ones that I ordered off AliExpress that had like thick grease and goop all over them. All right, let's cut out the second one. I will say that these are wrapped very well. I can't tell you how many times it's happened to me. I already have spares. Yeah, it's happened to me too. It hasn't happened to me before building a Voron, but on the first Voron, when I didn't do the first step correctly, which was this guy, I had to take off the bed after the fact, and it was like late at night, and I goofed, and I lost a bunch of ball bearings. So I think I have a couple spares somewhere of the actual blocks themselves. So hopefully that won't be necessary. But yeah, these are way nicer than the ones that I had, or the ones that I have on that guy. Okay, so I've got those out, and let me throw trash, can go on the ground for now. And then we are going to need M2x6s. M2x6, and they are these guys. My arch nemesis, these little small guys. And then I usually use the wow stick to put these in, but we're actually gonna use the little Allen keys that came with the kit. Let's see. What I'm gonna do is I'm just going to, because you have to like actually measure that they're the correct distance away from the ends, but just to get them in, I'm gonna kind of just place them loosely. So let's go ahead and grab, okay, so I am going to remove this little black pad that holds it in place, at least for a moment here. Just again, be careful. We're going to place it on the extrusion, and I'm going to just lightly thread one of these in. Not all the way, because I want to be able to slide the block and the rail back and forth, but just so that way they are aligned. Did we get them in? Yep, all right, so we got that one in. That is, I'm telling you, those rails are a game changer for this build. Just getting those bars in, the printed ones on mine, because I had a brim, was such a pain in the ass the first time, that this is already going much better than my first build. Okay, so, you know what we're gonna end up doing actually, because because we're not installing screws into all of the holes, I'm just gonna go ahead and place this little cushion pad thing in the second hole. That way I don't have to worry about this possibly coming out. So I think that's probably a good idea for anybody building it, is to do the same thing, because again, if the block slides off the end, which you get focused on something else and you forget not to angle it, it sucks. So let's go ahead and quickly... And I know that we don't have the these little centering guys on yet. We're gonna put these on before we tighten anything down. This is just for right now. Need 1, 2. What's up, Eggy? Oh man, I'm definitely not a huge fan. Let me see if I've got an actual bit. I don't like the little Allen keys. I mean, they work, but if you've got something better, I highly recommend it. Let's see if this is the right size. This is not the right size. Something tells me I may have misplaced the correct size. Actually, this looks like it's the right size. And if it is, I'm gonna steal it from the wow stick, shove it in here. Yep, that is way nicer. Wait, am I not? Huh, it doesn't feel like it's threading correctly. It's weird. I know. I've heard that the iFixit kits are absolutely amazing. No, this is not the right... This is not the right size, which would explain why it's not working. Let me see. My mic is moving. Yeah, I've heard the iFixit kits are amazing, and honestly, I'm surprised that it's taken me like this long and I don't have it. I'll probably add it to my list of things. Okay, here we go. Here's the right size. Okay, so again, I don't want it really tight because I'm just trying to place these, and we're going to center it and align it all after the fact. And then same with this guy, because we need access to the slot right there, we're just gonna go ahead and scoot it one space. I say leave those on until you absolutely have to take them off, because again, that's going to really ruin your experience early on if you damage one of your linear rails. Okay, so we got one down. Let's go ahead and do the same for this guy. Scoot you over one. You. Are you building right now, DC? I don't know. You probably, if you are, you probably don't have access to your keyboard. By the way, did you guys see the new hot end that was announced from? God, I don't know how you pronounce the company's name, but I think Fadius. They have a new hot end that it looks like, from what I saw, takes both standard V6 nozzles as well as much larger nozzles, or like a much larger system that allows you to remove them with your hand, kind of like the Revo, right, from E3D. And it looks like it has like a very large melt zone, kind of like a volcano or a high flow setup. Working on 0.1, nice. Okay, cool. Working on the TL 2.4. If that's the one that, if that's the 2.4 that I was talking to DC about last night, that thing is doing some weird stuff. All right, scooting this over, slotting this guy in. Okay. All right, we've got all screws in. Again, these are both loose, which is what we want for now. All right, and so now we will go ahead and actually align it. We want it 38 millimeters from the end, so I'm going to use these little handy dandy centering pieces to make sure the rail is centered. And then, let me show you guys. We'll cut back and forth so you can see. Okay, sorry, I need to look and make sure you guys see what I see. Okay, so again, we skipped this part because the LDO kit comes with these awesome bars. We slid them in. You want to make sure you slide them into the E-extrusion, and the E-extrusion, the side of the E-extrusion is the side with that little hole. Right now we've got everything in just loosely. We use the center rail installation guide. I just placed it on, which you'll see in a second here, this first one. Now the next thing we're going to do is make sure that the end of the linear rail and the end of this extrusion is 38 millimeters apart. And I goofed the first time also because, you know, I just did all the things wrong. But originally I wasn't sure whether it was saying that the rail or the actual nut trap needed to be 38 inches or 38 millimeters away from the end, and it's the linear rail. So luckily, I mean, it looks like the nut trap that LDO uses is nearly the exact same length as linear rail, but on the printed ones, mine, that was not the case. So I'm going to just take, I think I've got a nice little ruler. Yep, I've got this guy, which is an awesome millimeter ruler and centimeter ruler, and we are just going to measure. Let's go ahead and do. So all I'm going to do is basically get it to where it is, what did I just say, 38? This thing works quite well. I actually like this a lot more than using a, it's actually easier if I'm gonna go from a side, because this way I can actually see it. So I'm just going to line it, and I'm going to slide it. And that is right on the money. That looks perfect. And so I'm actually going to tighten one from the side. I know this is a little bit awkward, and I probably wouldn't be doing it like this if it wasn't that it's being streamed. And so I'm, again, angle, I'm not just thinking about building it for myself, but like kind of how I'm doing it. So that should be good. I'm gonna double check my work. Yeah, I mean, that's nearly perfect. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but it's 38 mil, like right on the money. I know, I have the caliper. For some reason on this, it's so easy just to slide this little ruler in because it fits like perfectly in the slot. But yeah, I agree. I mean, calipers would be more than sufficient. So now I'm just tightening, going ahead and tighten these in. I'm just gonna do the ones, so a couple of the screws are actually covered by these little centering pieces, so the ones that aren't covered, I'm going to screw in. Why are you so stuck? And you obviously want these fairly tight because this is the only thing holding your linear rail in place, but these little M2 screws strip very, very easily, which I learned also on my first build. So just be mindful, like, that's why I used Allen keys, I think, for most of the first build. I like using something like this much better because with the Allen key, you have a bit more like torque you can put into it. But in this instance, to me, like that's actually counterproductive because you don't want to over torque them. Is that all of them? I feel like I missed a screw. Maybe it's this one? Yeah. How's the quality of this kit? Notice you don't have a 2.4 kit, at least not this time. So far, Well, so a couple things. One, I don't have much to compare it to other than the self-sourced, thing I self-sourced myself. Sorry, brain farted. I only have this kit to compare it to, but compared to some of the other kits I was initially looking at before I self-sourced the Voron that's right there, this looks substantially better, like in every way, shape, or form. And so far, I'm very impressed with just all the different things that it comes with. Inappropriate Maker says, I'm an ape man and would strip all those screws in this so fast. Yeah, I also am an ape man, and I'm trying not to be. I'm trying to take all the things I did wrong again, like the first time, and just apply it, because I'm used to dealing with much larger printers, and so, I'm a lot of things. Delicate, I don't think anyone would describe me as delicate. And so, trying to change that for the sake of this. So yeah, these are all good. Okay, so we've got this one in, and we will go ahead and just rinse and repeat for the second one. Again, 38, don't slide off. 38 millimeters from the side with the hole. So basically, from the edge of this linear rail to the end, it needs to be 38 millimeters, and it should be the side where the hole is exposed. Ooh, Fabreeko says, keep refreshing our page. The 2.4 from LDO should be launching soon. Ooh, spicy. That's awesome. Okay, so yeah, again, make sure you use these. If the rail is not centered, you will have problems. So again, we are clipping, and then I'm gonna do the same thing where I'm gonna tilt it to the side just so that way, actually I don't need to tilt it. I'm just gonna hold it like this actually. Right on the money, 38 mil, holding it in place with my hand, tightening the first one. Cool, now I can go ahead and set it down since the rail won't be sliding around. I don't have to worry so much. And we will go ahead and tighten the remaining 5 screws. Slide you, slide you. Ah. I think the coffee has me a little shaky. I did. I had some nutritious waffles this morning, but I think that the coffee's definitely got me a little shaky. Because I'm not a big. Well, I like coffee, but I am. Anyone that knows me knows that I am quite a spazzy person, and so you combine that with coffee, and God, it sometimes can be pretty scary. Okay, so we've got both of these in, looking good. Next step, Fabreeko, that's what I'm talking about. We can't wait either. Probably going to have to wait until January, February though. I'm moving at the end of the year. Oh, nice. Hopefully that's a positive thing. Congratulations. If it is a positive thing, moving is a lot of work, but also very exciting. Let me have a sip of water. Okay, so rail positioning is complete. During assembly, some rail ends won't be supported by stoppers. That prevents the carriage from coming off the rail. I don't like to be a stickler, but I think that is a grammatical error. Supported by stoppers to prevent the carriage from coming off the rail. Or spelling error. Some rails come with little plastic stop pins, which are again these little black pieces. Oops, that is stopping this from breaking. If your rail does not have these stop pins, leave the last screw slightly loose to act as a stopper. Alternatively, use some tape to fix the carriage in place. Okay, so it's kind of interesting. It shows 2 stoppers here. It shows 2 stoppers here, but there's nothing for them to thread into. I'm assuming this is saying that we need to, I'm gonna look. I'm gonna cheat. I'm looking at my finished Voron. 1 second. Okay. Yeah, on the short side, that's really weird. I think it would show a nut, but I guess it's just assumed that you need a nut. Nuts not, oh, okay, okay. Well, that makes sense then why nuts are not shown. So we are going to take then the nut. Okay, cool. I got it, I got it. Hey, Jason's here. Hi, Jason. How's it going, man? Use M2. No, M3 nuts. It's gotta be the M3 nut. Okay. So we're gonna grab then the M3. So we're gonna grab these guys then, the ones that, the little nut trap things. And we are going to slide these in to the shorter side of the rail. Man, I thought that there we go. It's a little bit tight. That's okay, as long as it slides. Which nuts? It's gotta be these little M3s. I went ahead, so in the LDO kit, it comes with square or your standard hexagon nuts. But I decided to go with square, not for really any particular reason. They were there and I printed out these square nut traps, so that's what I went with. But I can't think, I mean, unless someone knows something I can't think of any reason why one's really better than the other. I think it would just be personal preference. But yeah, I'm basically just sliding it in. It's kind of a tight fit, but it's fine because, I mean, part of the main purpose of using these is so that way that nut's not sliding around all over the place. I used regular nuts on the first build. Okay, so we are going to use that, and then we need 2 M3x8s, which I think I already pulled out somewhere. Yeah, M3x8s. And then we are going to be using these guys. See them right there. These are little stoppers, so I'll just go ahead and put a screw through here. Like that. And then we are going to install this into the nut we just placed. So I usually just kind of put it in partially, and then I use this to actually slide that nut into its place, because again, it's kind of tough, like so. And then we're going to go ahead and tighten that. Although it's still sliding a little bit. Let's see, go forward. So now, yeah, so basically now that that's in place, you don't have to worry about the block flying off on that side. I still might end up leaving these little stoppers in place just for now because there's no need to take them off, but that's basically what these guys are for. They're just little stoppers. I'm also gonna try, you want it to be as close to the linear rail as possible because if there's a gap, even a slight gap, there's a chance that one of the balls could possibly pop off, but that should be fine. Yeah, there's a tiny little gap. But yeah, that's fine. So I don't know how well you can see that, but there is a tiny gap on mine between where that stopper is and the rail, but it's so small that there's not even enough space for the ball to fly through. All right, and then we are going to rinse and repeat for this guy. I fell in love with square when I built my mini kit. What mini kit? The Prusa Mini? I am so close to just ordering a Prusa Mini. I really want to play around with, I've never owned a, I feel like I talk about this in every stream, but I've never owned a Prusa printer, and the Mini just seems like it would make sense for kind of what I want, and also just for some coverage on the, oh, okay, I see why these can't slide any further. The actual bar, the bar that's underneath the linear rail is stopping this guy from sliding it any further. So that's the reason why I can't physically push it any further, because there's a stop. So yeah, that should be fine. I almost wonder if for these guys, if it's better not to use one of those nut stoppers, just because there is that slight gap and these are so small, but I don't think I had a gap on mine. No, I don't have a gap on mine. Because this one has a slightly larger gap. Like if you look, there's a slightly larger gap right there. And I just don't want there to be a chance that a ball pops up. It's probably fine. But let me look at it 1 second here. No, I think I'm tripping. That's totally fine. No. I'm not gonna switch it up. Cool. Yeah, we're good. Feistek Prusa Mini Clone. If someone didn't know, the good calipers have 4 points you can measure with: inner diameter, depth, and stair measure. Try the regular nuts and there should be, yeah, I agree. The regular nuts would make it where there's no gap. Should we do that then? Just go ahead and, okay, I'm gonna take these little ends off just because for right here, it won't be difficult for me to just insert a nut without those nut traps, just because there is a slight gap and I'm not crazy about that. So we're just gonna go ahead and unscrew these guys real quick. I'm gonna do this quickly. I just don't, if there's a chance of a ball popping off, it's gonna piss me off later on, so I don't want a gap. So we'll go ahead and just remove these two. Take out these little nut traps. It shouldn't really be an issue anywhere else, I don't think. But for the sake of these linear rails, I'm just going to pop these little square nuts out. Come on, buddy. Yep, there we go. And there we go. And then we're just gonna slide the square nut in instead of using the trap. So nut slides in like so. And then let's put this guy in. Yeah, I think that's the better option. Good call. I was second guessing myself. You gave me the confidence to, or the encouragement I needed to do it. So yeah, now there's absolutely no gap. So I'm not going to use the nut trap. Again, if you do end up using it, I don't think it'll be an issue, but I ran into issues with my first Voron 0.1 kit, and I don't want to mess with screwed up linear rails. So we'll go ahead and install this guy. Cool. And we are back in business. Good call, Hector. I think that was the move. That was the power play. All right, so back to the screen. DC is, sorry, building along with her just a touch behind. No worries. I'm sure you'll get caught up from me talking. Do the mini just a beast and you forget about, and it works. Plus the Delta power supply to see me when I dead short. Oh shit. Are you talking about the, Hector has the Feistek Prusa Minicons? You do? Is that something new? I haven't seen those. Part of me still wants the, like the original just to see what the experience is like, but it's interesting. I didn't know that there were good Prusa Mini clones out there. Okay, so we are done with the Y rails. Now we are going to be moving on to the C rails. So we'll go ahead and place these off to the side. Your boy's gonna have to go to the restroom at some point. The last 3 streams I was able to like hold it for 2 hours, but it's not I don't think it's happening today. Okay, so let's go ahead and see. So the C extrusions were the ones with 2 holes. Let me just confirm that that's all that there was that was unique about them. Okay, yeah, 2 holes. C extrusions. All right, so we got the C extrusions, and we're just gonna rinse and repeat. It's gonna be, so we'll take 2 more of these guys. We're going to slide them in. Make sure you slide them in on the side that has the through holes, like so. we will go ahead and open up 2 more of these guys, which will take me a minute. We will talk about it tonight. It's so funny. Every single week so far after the stream, I get done, and like, again, these are only 2-hour streams, but it's just, man, like, since I'm working, you know, for myself now, and it's just me and Erin here, and she's at work like all day long, it's a lot interacting and talking. And so when the streams are done, I've like gone to sleep for like 2 hours almost every single time, and then I'm up at nighttime, you know, working on stuff till the wee hours. But yeah, that could be cool to compare, you know, the original versus a clone. You guys like this camera angle? So like, this was originally the side camera, and it didn't look good where it was at. So I figured turning it into like a front close camera to what's on the table from that side's cool. So I'm just trying to get all of like as much as we can. So we got like over shoulder, we've got front camera sort of, and then we've got top camera. So I feel like we've got kind of all of our bases covered. I need the clone to be able to compare. That's right. I know. Everyone I know that has a Prusa Mini loves it, with the exception of when they initially launched, which, God, I think it's been, what, has it been 2 years now? When they initially launched, I do know some people that weren't very happy with, I think, the leveling side of things. Like, it was either very inconsistent, or I think there was also some issue where one of the cables that went to that Pinda probe was possibly a hair too short, and so it was causing some kind of wear. But I think they addressed it and took care of that and sent out replacements. And then the Super Pinda that, or the, you know, which comes standard now on the Prusa Mini Plus, I've heard has just about, excuse me, resolved all that. Let's see here. I always forget until the very end. If you have not, hit the like button on the stream, please, to help support the channel, and hopefully we can get some more people over here. I gotta get better at that. I'm proud of myself for remembering. Okay, so now that we have got these guys in, we're literally gonna do the exact same thing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and place these. I'm not gonna use those little centering things yet because there's just no point. We're just gonna loosely get everything in, and then we'll do the measurement and the fine. We'll do all the measurement stuff after. And so I need, again, the M2x6 button heads, which are these guys right here. I think, I mean, I feel like a broken record, but for anybody that hasn't built one of these, or anybody that's planning on building probably any Voron, the biggest advice I can give is organization. And that is what I was severely lacking the first time I built one of these. Like, I've gotten so used to the, Creality printers, or just any of the machines that come now that are nearly all assembled, where it's like, yeah, you don't need organization because there's only so many parts and they use kind of all the same screws for just about everything. But if I had one thing, one piece of advice, it'd be organization before even starting, which is tough for me because I get so excited. Like, when a kit comes in and I really want to build, I'm like, all right, I got to get going. But no. The future you will be very thankful if you take the initial, couple hours up front and make sure you've got everything nice and organized. Maybe you can build both when you come. I do have a Patreon. I don't think that I have it linked to this new channel. I'm still trying to get all of the kind of things lined up, but I do. It should be Modbot. It should be Modbot. I can find it later, or if you go on the main channel, Modbot, it should be in the banner or something like that. But I will add it over here as well. Says that sounds great. Yeah, I think once I get this rail both rails on and then measured correctly, I'm gonna take just a quick 2-minute bathroom break. The only unfortunate thing is I don't actually have a, I don't have like a intermission screen, so I'm just gonna leave it rolling. Any printer can have issues. I've been fighting consistent Z offset issues for a week on my 2.4. Interesting. I think something has happened to my Z end stop switch and I need to take a look at it. Yeah, that's true. I mean, the bottom line is there are so many, there we go. There are so many moving pieces with a 3D printer. I mean, like DC was talking to me last night about his 2.4 that he's working on, and like, I've had weird issues on, you know, all sorts of printers. So it's like, and then also the more, like, there's definitely a plus side, right, to adding all these new features and stuff like that. But the more features and more electronics and more hardware also means more things to check and more failure points. So, and then the harder we push them, you know, the chances of something coming loose or something wearing down quicker just goes up. So, yeah, I agree. It doesn't matter whether it's a I mean, it matters as far as quality of components and QC and stuff like that, but it doesn't really matter. Like, the range of printer, any machine can certainly have some issues. I will trade you issues. That sounds too rational and logical. I want my printer to break a ton. I just drank an Arizona melon, only here by myself. I'm in danger in 40 minutes. God, I love Arizonas. I haven't had an Arizona in a while. How long are you planning on streaming? So it's 1 o'clock. So I didn't have an exact time frame for today's stream. I kind of figured that we would finish the frame. So like, my game plan is, just so you guys know, game plan is obviously we're streaming today because we're live right now. Streaming on Friday, the next section, and then probably taking a break until next Wednesday. There's a chance I might stream Monday, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just while we're doing this build. I won't be streaming that many days. Like Wednesday is the guarantee day, but it just depends on what's going on. We're gonna be helping Aaron's sister pack a U-Haul because she's moving out of state. And then also just the main channel depends on how complicated the video is on that. So, but anyways, that's not what you asked. How long am I streaming today? So let's see, we've got bed, we've got screws, we've got things, we've got screws, we've got angles, we've got, yeah, we'll be streaming for a while. My goal is to at least get to right here where the AB drive is at. So I would say it's 1 o'clock. I don't see us being done realistically before probably 3 o'clock. It doesn't help that I'm also talking a lot on each step, but it's fine. I enjoy it, and I think that's part of why we're all hanging out. So yeah, probably 2 more hours. Brain fart. Unless something happens, which I don't know what that means. Maybe like food break. I don't know. Maybe I'll get like a granola bar at some point. We'll see. Oops, I'm sorry. I forgot to change it back. Okay, last screw. And boom. Okay, so these are all loosely in. Great. Itchy nose. All right, M2x6 we've got, cool, we've got. Now it's saying use the center guides, cool. And for these ones we want 33 millimeters. So let me show you guys this so we're all seeing the same thing. So for this one, again, make sure that you installed it on the side, one of the 2 sides of the extrusion that has the through holes. And then basically from the end of the linear rail to the edge of the extrusion, you want 33 millimeters on one side. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing we just did a second ago, which is grab one of these, grab these 2 little centering pieces. We will place this like so. Cool, and then I am going to just grab this handy dandy ruler that I absolutely love and going to measure 33. That looks beautiful. Perfect. I don't think I had the ruler. Did I have the ruler the first time I built this? I don't know if I did. I will say though that this ruler was actually gifted to me, and there's a couple things that I've gotten over the years that, like, you know, you don't realize you're missing something until you have it. And now that I have this millimeter ruler, I don't know how I've operated for 7 years of 3D printing without having a good, like, granted, again, I know that LSE said calipers, which I agree, that's been my go-to for primarily, but yeah, having one of these rulers is very, very awesome. Let's all get some popcorn out. Popcorn sounds good. What do you guys prefer? You guys, is this a kettle corn crowd or a butter popcorn crowd? No judgment here, but if you choose butter, you're wrong. Just kidding. Let's see. I actually think that regarding the Prusa Core XY, I think it's a lot closer than you think it is, because he announced that print farm in Dubai, if I'm not mistaken, that is all Core XY printers, and he did say that it's not exactly the XXL or it's not the XXL, but there's some things that it takes from it. And so I think, and this is just my theory, I don't have insider knowledge, I don't have any ties with Prusa, so I don't know things other than what everyone else knows, but I think that part of that, those XXL, you know, not exactly XXLs, but being in Dubai, is them stress testing their new system in a real environment with people that are just selecting these little, like, the snowflake things that are being printed out. And so I think that's part of the reason why, like, one of the things that they're gaining from it. Obviously it's cool, it's marketing, it's publicity, and it's very cool. Like, it's a very neat way to show 3D printing to lots of people. But I think that part of it is that they're actually testing out something to do with their new XXL motion system in the wild. Let's see. What are steps or stairs on a caliper? Forgot to ask. Butter all the way, never kettle butter. Kettle corn. Kettle corn's the second option. I need a longer millimeter ruler. All I have is a 6-inch machinist ruler with millimeters on one side, so it's only 150. Yeah, this guy is 3. This thing's awesome. It's by Shinma. It's got a, I don't know if you can see it. There's a cute little penguin on the bottom of it. Highly recommend this one. It's awesome. I really hope it's a CR30 belt system. I think the chip and shipping shortage delays are delaying. Yeah, it's very true. I know that, I don't know if you guys saw, and I know I'm getting off topic here, but it's okay. It's a stream, we can do little things. They're actually doing some, like, chip manufacturing in-house, or at least, like, doing some pick and placing in-house. They got a pick and place machine, I believe, that they showed off. So they're definitely trying to depend less on external sources and do most things in-house, which I think will help, you know, long-term with cost as well as reliability. So that's kind of cool. Is in the works since a year and almost production ready, if you didn't know. Yeah, I agree with you. What the heck is the second one? Actually, the second one isn't an option. Okay, anywhoozin. You guys got me distracted. Okay, I still need to do one of them. I was like, did I already line up both these? Okay, so one of them's done. Let's go ahead and get the second one done, which again, it needs to be 33 millimeters. It looks beautiful. Let me double check my work. Looking good. Let's go ahead. Oops. Make sure your center pieces are on. The little centering guides. How's everybody's week going? It's Wednesday. That means that it's halfway through the week. I feel like this week has gone by very, very fast. All right, taking these little guys off. And we've got, this is our Z-rails. So Z-rails are done, we've measured, so they are exactly 33 millimeters from one of the sides, which is what we want. I don't think the Prusa XL is gonna be a belt printer maker. And I'm not just saying that because I am trying to rain on a parade, but I just, based off of what I've seen of belt printers, and I really want one in on the main channel. I've been trying, I've reached out to Creality and SaneSmart, and I'm hoping I can get one in, but from what I've seen externally and from even just friends, because I've seen them like in front of me before, I just haven't owned one, that there is a lot of room for improvement. There's a lot of room for improvement on them. And so unless Prusa just somehow has developed the magic system, but I just don't think so, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that in Dubai, that like 30 or 40 printer thing that they have, I think it uses some kind of like an arm system to remove them. And I feel like if he was working on a belt of any sorts, that's probably where they would have been testing it, to dump the parts off of those printers. Just speculation. Again, I have no idea, but that's at least my thought. Let's see. Yep, I'm going to take a 2-minute break to run to the restroom, and because I have no form of intermission, and this is a wireless mic, I'm taking this off so that way I don't take you guys to the restroom with me. So I will be right back in 2 minutes. All right, feeling way better. I think, yeah, good thing I remembered, right? That's the last thing I need. Hey guys, it's me from the restroom. I think that's the next thing on my list, is to figure out some kind of like an intro thing for the beginning of a stream, as well as like a intermission or BRB type thing. Sorry, I heard the mail or the car. Okay, so next on the list looks like we are going to be doing the same thing that we just did a moment ago, which is inserting square nut, and 2 of these little stoppers. It's behind the carriage. You may want to use some sticky tape. Where's the, okay, here we go. It's funny that it says where's the nut here and not here, which would be the first place that you'd be questioning it. I feel like that should be moved, but it's all good. Insert the previous step, or no nuts that can be easily inserted in the current step. Okay, so we're not going to use the little nut traps for these, because again, I want to get these as close to the rails as possible. So we're just going to insert square nuts. If you tweet to Hello Meteor, he allows you to use for free on YouTube, Twitch. Just need to give him credit somewhere. Huh, interesting. What are you, Flash, but for toilets? Nah, man. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to the side view. So we are going to, again, these are the Z-rails, and we've got the shorter side and we've got the longer side. The stoppers are going in on the longer side. So we are going to take 2 of these guys, and these are the printed nut traps I did, and I'm just going to remove the squares, because these are really easy to access, and they won't be able to get as close to the linear rails without removing them. So we'll go ahead and slide it in like so. Grab one of these little guys, and then we need what, M3x8s, which are probably still out. Yep. Get in there. Oops. Cool. So we will go ahead and place this on top. Nope, I missed the square nut. There we go. All right, We got one in, and again, we're only right now putting it on one side, and the other side is completely open. So because of all that, I'm still leaving these two little stoppers because I just, again, don't want to risk damaging this guy. I might sound like a broken record, but for anybody that this does save from happening, you won't know to thank me because you won't have a damaged rail, but trust me, you subconsciously be thanking me because it is the worst. Okay, we'll do the same thing, square nut in the top, slide over, grab one of these stoppers, grab a, what is it, M3x8, and insert, come on. And we are golden. These guys are in. How many printers do you have at this point? Considering this is a 1-bedroom and I live with my fiance, and so it's not just me, there's a disgusting amount of printers in our living room, and I've had to get rid of some through either donations or scrapping them down or selling off some of them. But like right now, just doing a head count, we won't count this one because it's not built yet, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20 printers. There are 20 printers. It is disgusting. It's too many. I mean, it's not, for me, it's not too many because of like what I do. My life revolves around 3D printing, and now I'm full-time creating content on 3D printing. So like it only makes sense, but this space is far too small. This is 700 square feet for 2 people to exist, and that many printers, it's awful. I mean, again, I'm thankful that I can do this and make do with what I've got, but it's too much. When our lease is up, which isn't until August of 2022, so we've got a long way to go, we're moving. We need more space. I'm up to here. Like it's very frustrating. So you don't have an issue if you don't go to meetings. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, Eggy, I know it's late where you're at. Have a great night, man. Thanks for hanging out. LSC said back had to kill off Firefox. You use Firefox too? Man, I didn't think many people use Firefox anymore, but you're like the second person in the last 30 days that's been like, I'm using Firefox. Okay, so we are done with the Z-rails, and now we are going to be grabbing, so we'll put these off to the side. I'm gonna put these over here next to the other finished rails, and then we need the little guys. Are they all the same? Okay, it says we need F extrusion, which is, scroll, F extrusion. Okay, F does not have holes. All of mine have holes. So that must mean that LDO decided to do holes on all of them, so that way it doesn't matter which ones you use. So we will grab 2 of them, I guess. Interesting. Yeah, if you look here, like this shows the same length, so 100 by 100, but then this guy has the holes. But in the LDO, they all have the holes, so I guess they're interchangeable, which does simplify things. Okay. Just trying to think where I want the holes. Do I want them visible on the side, or should I do top down? I think I'm gonna do the holes on the top. So let me show you guys this. I'm going to have it where the holes are facing up and down. That way, if you're looking into the printer from the side, you won't be able to see the holes, because if they're not being used for anything, don't think that they'll necessarily look all that great. So yeah, we'll do the holes face up, and then we need this printed part. And we are going to slot these in like so. And then we are going to use M3 by 12s, which let's put some stuff away. Starting to get too many drawers open. How's your build going, DC? Where are you at? You getting close? Up to 20 people. Nice. I don't even have, like, all I can see on my end is the camera angles I've got going on and then chat. So I have no idea how many people are actually watching. So thank you guys, 20 people. That is awesome. yeah, please hit the like button, and you know, it really helps to make sure the stream gets out there, and I appreciate everybody hanging out on this Wednesday. Okay, so, yep, we are going to be just basically screwing in 2 screws from the front into these extrusions. So I will go ahead and do that. Easy peasy. Wait, did I do it? Yeah. Okay. I say easy peasy. I'm like, did I do it upside down? Come on. It's like a fine line between, you want it tight, but I don't want to over tighten it out of risk of breaking a printed part. Although this is really strong. This is actually carbon fiber ABS, which is totally not necessary, but God, it looks so good. I think my AirPod might be dying. Oh, you're building it too, that's right, Average, I forgot. Nice. DC's got the sunglasses on looking super cool. I'll take that as things are going well. All right, so we've got the bed looking good, and then we need to install, now we need some M3x8s, which I just put away. And we are going to install it on the underside, which means that if we're installing it on the underside and there is nothing to thread it into, that means we do need to slide in those nuts. So I'm going to go ahead and, on this one, I'm also not going to use these nut traps because it's so easy to access. I'm going to pop the little square nuts out. You could, I'm sure, use it on this instance, but again, this is a very easy to get in. So we're just going to go ahead and on the bottom side, slide this in. And then luckily I've got an insane amount of lighting because we are streaming, so I can make sure it's all aligned. And then we are grabbing, what did I say, M3x8? Yeah. M3x8. We will go ahead. Easy. Easy. So easy. Having good lighting, oh, and I drop my nut. Having good lighting makes a huge difference as well when building this. I did not have studio lights on when I was building it for myself. I just had a sort of so-so light, and being able to see down into one of these holes that the nut is aligned with it is going to make it a lot easier. It is making it a lot easier. Boom. Let's grab those nuts. Okay, and then it says we need to also insert 2, can't really see it because chat, but 2 in the back here, which I think we don't need to tighten them. They're basically going to slot into some extrusion. So we will just go ahead and we'll do this camera for a sec here. So on the back side, we are going to just sort of, I'm just gonna hand thread them in for now, like so. Just if you look, it's sticking out quite a bit. I believe that this is one of the things that we'll be tightening later on. So just kind of place them into the threads. Yeah, that should be good. All right, easy. Next step now, G extrusion. Yep, okay, so this is where we're going to tighten it. So now we do need to grab the final piece. And basically, the way this works is, if I remember, yeah, okay. So let's go a different camera. I think this one, nope, side one. So these holes, nope, can't see them. These holes right here need to be basically sliding, like, so you're sliding these ends through the extrusion, which is why we didn't want to tighten them the whole way. And then we're going to access those heads through these holes right here. So it says use 2mm hex to tighten. So for this, yeah, we will actually have to use a hex because I don't have anything that will fit in there. Which I think is this guy. Yep. So again, just basically insert. You want to make sure it's lined up, so I think I'm getting it. Yep. Definitely want it to be as flat as possible, so let me place it on the surface. That should be good. I don't know if I can reach it with the long end. Well, I can. I'm gonna tighten it a little bit more. I really need to print that organizer box. Yeah, it's funny. Oh shit! Come on, buddy. It's like real tight. Back off of here. Okay. It's funny. So when I made this little organizer guy, I didn't really realize like how many people would also want to print it. I think it's like, I personally know of like 20 or 30 people that have printed it, but it was downloaded a couple hundred, like 400 times or something like that, which is awesome. You know, again, and I mentioned that you can very easily just buy an organizer from the store and label it, but the thing I liked about it was just small size, pretty quick to print, and the exact number of boxes or little drawers for the hardware needed for this. And so I have my... here's my my original one. So like I have one from the original V0 and I'm keeping this one as, you know, do I need any replacement parts and stuff like that? All of the hardware is in here, and then building a second one for this. And so they're just really easy to kind of store things in really neatly. And, you know, I think that for future complex builds, I will likely make organizers like this for them, just because again, it has been very, very handy. All the water. Okay. We are done with that. Let me make sure I'm not missing, 1 second here. I haven't done anything that can't be undone, but the one thing I don't want to miss is preloading any nuts. Which you'll be looking for typically little circles. This is just pointing out those holes. That's just pointing out those holes as well. Okay, so I guess right here is where the preloading starts. And so for this, we need, is it 2 B extrusions or just 1? I think it's just showing it twice. So the B extrusion, which is, okay, so the B extrusion quite literally has no holes on it. This guy. Okay. So it is, it must be telling us then to, why is this looking weird to me? Insert 2 additional 3. Okay, so we're inserting a total of 4 nuts then. 1 for each of these screws, and then 2 extra ones in the center for the Z axis. That makes sense. Okay. Okay, very nice. So, yeah, let's do the preloading first. It's funny, even though I just built the other one like 2 months ago, I don't remember. I also was not just using the guide, I was using a bunch of different resources back then, so it's different just looking at the guide and trying to see if we can figure it out together. Hey John, what's going on, man? Happy Wednesday. So we are going to be inserting in 4 of these little nut traps. It doesn't matter which side, because all of this extrusion in particular doesn't have any holes. There's no unique side to it. So we'll just go ahead and insert 4 of them. Oh, man, some of these are tighter than Would have hoped. Whew. That's a loose one. Hey Mike, happy Wednesday, man. Hope you're doing good, dude. Okay, so we've got 4 preloaded, and if you look at this particular instruction, it just shows like 2 floaty screws right here, which these screws are going into the outermost preloaded nuts, and I don't know that this is the best instruction to depict that, but just so you know. And then in this circle here is saying, hey, insert 2 additional M3 nuts into the highlighted slot between the ones added to affix the M3x6s, which is what we've got. Nope, that is the wrong thing. What we've got right here. So we've got the outer ones, 2 extra ones on the inner, and the outer ones we need to be sticking M3x6 screws into those 2. So let's grab M3x6. Where are you? M3x6. And we're not going to tighten these in. We're not going to tighten these in very far because I believe that they're more used for guides than anything. So I'm just, for now, just to show you guys, I'm only putting it in a little bit. It's going to be nice and loose for at least the second. That's probably going to change in just a moment here. And then, so there we go. We got these 2 guys, which are, again, pretty loose. Oh, I wish they were easier to slide. This one is a pain. Ooh, okay, that'll be fun. And then on the ends, it says that we need to insert or thread in M3x10s. So same thing. They're basically for now going to be used to slot into something else. So we will just put them into their places so that they're there, but we're not going to tighten them very much. I'm just going to hand tighten them. No Loctite. Very handsome. Everyone say hi to Nick. That's my brother. How many total hours do you expect this build to take for an average person once you have all the parts? Oh, that is a tough question to answer, man. I want to say, no exaggeration, that the Voron kit that I built for the first time was probably close to 40 hours. And the reason for that is so many things went incredibly wrong. From me breaking things, to me ordering the wrong things, to just issues, like stupid issues, which I cover a lot in my video. 40 hours might be a bit of an exaggeration, but it sure as hell felt like it. If you have all of your parts, you've done your research, and you take your time and things go correctly, I would say 15 to 20 hours seems somewhat realistic. I know that, I think Nero did it he got it from out of the box to printing in, I think it was like 8 hours. But he also knows the machines very, very well. And so, I mean, again, even like myself, granted, I'm not super versed with Vorons up until the last few months when I've kind of dove in, but I think for most people, 15 to 20 hours sounds about right. That seems fairly realistic. Okay, G Funny says 12 hours. Hey, Greg's here. What's going on, man? Yeah, Greg's videos on his channel were incredibly useful, and that's also why now I am triple checking all of the preloaded nuts, because I used his videos for the majority of my build, and because I'm trying to build it just based off the official manual, I have to triple check, because he shows you in his videos every single nut to preload, which was incredibly helpful. So yeah, I know that Mike says no Loctite. So yeah, with the initial build, I did quite a bit of Loctite, and it ended up being very problematic because of the fact that I didn't realize that Loctite behaves very negatively with ABS. It caused micro fractions in lots of my parts and really frustrated me. And so you can definitely use Loctite on the frame pieces, because these are not in contact with printed parts if you wanted to. I'm personally not going to, because it's not very difficult, in my opinion, to retighten the frame should I need to. And with my Voron, I'm printing it at about 150 millimeters a second on average, which I could probably scale up from there, but it just doesn't seem like things are rattling loose. If you're going for like Speed Demon, like, you know, to push it to its absolute maximum, which I'm kind of in the middle ground where it's like, yeah, I'm printing way faster than I would on like a, you know, standard Creality print, any of those. It just depends. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with using Loctite. Just make sure that you are not using Loctite on anything that's going through an ABS part, because it will just eat it. It will eat your printed part. And in this kit for the grub screws, they actually already come with Loctite on them, so you don't have to add them for the grub screws, which the grub screws, you absolutely need to have it. That will cause a ton of issue because of how much that part is moving back and forth. If it comes loose, it will just chew through your belts, screw up your printer, and it's a pain. So yeah, definitely make sure your grub screws have it. Good, I got Permatex, sigh of relief. Speed built Voron 9, yeah, 15 hours, first Voron build ever. Yeah, so 15 to 20 hours sounds about right to me. Orange Permatex, interesting. I had no idea. This is the first time I've actually really heard of Permatex. That is valuable information. Can you do me a favor, Luminet? Can you, in Discord, shoot me a message with that so I don't forget that? I'd like to add that to my list of things to probably order and take a look at. Maybe use nylon lock nuts if you're concerned about them coming loose. You can't use nylon lock nuts for the majority of it due to, I think, size. You might be able to fit M3 lock nuts in some of this. But for the frame, when you're just bolting frame to frame, there's nowhere for the lock nuts. So, well, yeah, for sure. Cool, okay. I am going to be installing now. So the M3 by 10s into the end of these. Yeah, I wish I had known that, Greg, about the Loctite, dude, because one of my biggest issues was that my X carriage kept cracking no matter how gentle I was with the screws. And then a month after my build was completed and I had switched to nylon for that part, and turns out the reason why the nylon has much higher chemical resilience to a lot of different chemicals, and so that's why it no longer cracked. But had I known that, it would have saved me a lot of frustration. I actually think I sent it hours ago to you. Check your Discord. Oh, cool, thank you. Sorry, Mike, I totally think I missed you. I'm mentally prepping for my next project, even though the other 4 not done yet. Oh God, I can relate to that. Okay, so we are, we've got this piece done, which we preloaded 2, inserted 2, and then put M3 by 6s in, and then we've got M3 by 10 sticking out the side. It says, read the next 4 pages before continuing. To keep the assembly images consistent and easy to follow as possible, we are showing them in an upright orientation. Gotcha, okay, yeah, so this is technically the bottom of the printer. We recommend, for ease of assembly, we recommend you assemble the Z-axis, them lying flat. Okay, so we are going to Z. Okay, so we're gonna grab the Z rails, which are these guys, and then we are going to loosely tighten them. You know what? One thing I'm gonna do really quick, guys, let me show you this. I'm actually gonna remove this. I'm gonna swap it out. It doesn't slide very freely at all, which is kind of what I want in most cases, but this one, because this one's actually going to be used, to align the bed, if I'm not mistaken. I want it to slide a little bit easier than that. It's gonna frustrate me. I really like this like 8-bit music style. It makes me happy. Okay, so let's see if this one slides a bit better. I tested a lot of them and they were... Okay, this one's definitely better. It's still not super sliding. Yeah, but at least this one, that one's pretty freaking tough too. It's a little bit better. Okay, so what we're going to do now is basically slot, let's see, slot this, which this is the Z rail, into this, into the screw that's sticking out. And then we are going to tighten it by going through the little access hole right there. We're not gonna overly tighten it because we're gonna need to align it in a bit, but we're just gonna go ahead and place the Allen key through there. I actually did it fairly tight, but that's fine. It's still sliding. It's not like, just don't torque it down yet. So like I should be able to slide. Yeah, the reason why it's hard to slide is because of that freaking nut, but yeah, that's fine. And then we're gonna do the same thing with the other Z linear rail. Remember that there are two sides. So, oops, there are two sides, right, that have the hole. We want the one with the less distance. So the side that has the linear rail stopper, that's the wrong side. Took me about 30 hours, but I was printing parts as I went, so I had to wait between steps. Yeah, I think it's gonna vary greatly. I think throwing out the number of 15 to 20 hours sounds about right. But again, there are factors of, do you break a printed part while you're assembling it? Did you order all the right stuff? Like, there's a lot of other kind of external factors, but 15 to 20 hours to me sounds about right. Okay, so that is good. All right, so now we've got both of these guys. They're by no means straight, but they are at least attached to this. And then it's time to preload. So, the good old preload. So on the back side of these, let's see, so there's no preloading here. On the back side, we need 3 and 3. It says this callout means you need to add the specified number of nuts into the dedicated slot. You can use M3 faster, temporarily fix it in place, prevent them from sliding out of the slot. If you're planning on running a Bowden setup, preload an additional 2 for a total of 5 into the marked positions. The extruder can be mounted to those later. So we are not doing a Bowden setup, we're doing the mini afterburner. So we are going to go ahead and grab 3. And then again, this is on the back side. So you've got the linear rails. We're going to be preloading them on the back side of the linear rails. So I'm just going to go ahead and push them in. And then I'm actually going to use, it's easier for me to use a Allen key to kind of slide. Dude, these things are tight. It's okay. Hopefully we get some that aren't as mean. Ah. Preloaded 1, preloaded 2. I'm gonna freaking break a sweat just from trying to get these guys in. It's funny because I actually checked, I checked a lot of them to make sure they weren't too aggressive. Uh-oh, I lost an AirPod. I think they're both dead. No, I lost my music. Oh, that makes me sad. We got no music. Can you guys still hear me all right? As long as you guys can hear everything, then we are good. Bought my LDO kit. Mine should be here by Friday, I hope. So hopefully I can crack. I'm so confused. Yeah, this is my second one. I did. The first one is right there. You can see it behind. That one was self-sourced. This one is all off of the LDO kit. You guys lost music too? No. Okay. That's a bummer. Let me see if I can do... I'm really sad about the music. Damn, that makes me sad. Sorry guys, I thought that I had a lot more battery life left in my headphones. Oops, and I hit the camera. Okay, well, we will carry on. It definitely isn't as fun without music though, but okay, let's go ahead and carry on. I got my 2.4 cereal, let me real, cold beans, music is dead, can't wait. All right, well, luckily I talk a lot, so at least there's that. So there's not gonna be a lot of silence, but let's go ahead and slide. You know what? I have an idea. Because it's 1:46 and chances are we're streaming for at least another hour. Let me go. Get in there. Let me plug those AirPods in a second here, so that way I can probably have them. We can have music again in half an hour. First, let me finish preloading these guys. Whew, scary. I'm scared I'm gonna slip and just destroy my hand. See, like this one slides in really easily. That's what I wanted them all to do, but does not seem like that's the case. Yeah, the V0, I guess like it looked fairly similar, but there's quite a bit of differences. Like the 0.1 went from Bowden to direct drive. I know that it has beefier motors for the AB motors. What else am I missing? There's definitely some other changes. Let's see. You know what? Let me try one other thing, guys. 820. No, I don't know about the music. Okay, so we have got the 3 preloaded nuts. We've got 3 preloaded nuts. That is this step right here. And again, if for some reason you are doing a Bowden setup, I don't know why you would. Maybe it's because you're building a V0, not a 0.1, or maybe you just want less weight on your X carriage, then you would add, it says 2 additional nuts to each side. But since we're doing everything by the book with the mini afterburner, we are just doing 3 and 3 on each side. Anyways, I'm gonna go plug in the AirPods just so that way maybe we can get some music in like 30 minutes, and I will be right back. Sorry about that. I'm definitely, I think I'm equally bummed because having some music in my ear is really nice while live streaming. So let me go ahead and plug this in. All right, we'll see in half an hour. Somebody remind me in half an hour that I need to see if I can get the AirPods working again. Oh, integrated leads. Oh, that's right, integrated lead screw. That was a big difference as well in the stepper motor. Mainsail or fluid, I'm setting up clipper. I've only used mainsail, and I love mainsail. That being said, I've only used mainsail, so I don't have much input as to how fluid works, or like how fluid compares. I thought someone said that fluid development was kind of slowing down. That might be a rumor, so don't spread it. But yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe try both. Each has their differences. I'm currently using mainsail. Does anyone know if that statement I just made is accurate regarding them not doing as much development anymore? Or is that something that someone just said that is incorrect? Set a timer. I've got an Alexa. Alexa, set a timer for 30 minutes. All right, 30 minutes, guys. All right, so the next step is going to be to grab, oh, okay. So I think we goofed already, or I goofed. So this right here isn't showing the same extrusion twice. It's saying to create two of these. One of them should have the preloaded nuts, while the other one should not. And those two preloaded nuts are, if I remember correctly, for the actual Z-axis lead screw and the mount for the motor. And so that should be on the opposite side. Am I incorrect? Anyone that just built this, can you confirm that? I can't tell by looking at mine. I don't have the actual build file. I'm just trying to figure out whether. Okay, first let me build. Let's build this. So we need to build another one of these guys, which is basically just two preloaded. Let's see, two preloaded nuts. That broke. I'm an engineer with a brain injury, so it's literally impossible for me to remember things. Oh wow, yeah, no worries. We will do the Alexa. I usually use Alexa for all of like timer things. Okay, so we are going to be inserting these guys in, and then the same thing goes M3x6s. So we're basically rebuilding what we already built, but a second one of it, and we're not preloading two nuts in the middle. So this should be M3x10s on the outside. You can get the same layout as mainsail under controls, click cog and click alternative controls. I'd like to play around with fluid. I'll probably do mainsail on this printer as well. But I might at some point do a little bit of, or try fluid just to see how it compares. And then we need two M3x6. Let me show you guys this. Let's see, M3x6. So yeah, initially I thought on this page that it was basically showing the same piece twice and just saying, hey, don't forget to preload, but no, they're showing two different pieces that need to be made. One of them needs to have the preloaded nuts, which you already did. So right now we're just assembling this one really quickly. And so we've got the two nuts here. We need to put the screws in, and I've already got the M3x10s on the end. So let's go ahead and screw these guys in. I wish these slid easier. Okay. So now my only question I have, which I don't, let me see one more time here. Read the next 4 pages for continuing to keep assembly consistent, easy to follow. We're showing them in an upright orientation. See, I don't see the preloaded nuts being check page 38. Yeah, those two verify preloaded nuts. So those nuts need to be on the bottom, which I do know that. But what I'm not certain on is this feels right to me. This feels right to me because it looks like the bottom side has a shorter. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we are good. We're gonna roll with it. Just so that way I, like, now that I think that I'm fine, I want to explain my concern for anybody that's building. Okay, so basically one of these two pieces has preloaded nuts in it, right? And the preloaded nuts need to be on the bottom because the bottom is where the Z axis stepper motor is going to be bolted to. And it wasn't very clear to me which side was the bottom by looking at this. So for those that are wondering, the side that is shorter, so like this side is shorter than the top side as far as the distance from linear rail to edge, that is the bottom. So the rail that has the two preloaded nuts should be on the bottom. This is correct. And so now we are going to be taking this guy, which is the one that we just built. It doesn't have the two preloaded nuts, and we're going to be slotting that on the opposite end. So I'm going to, let's see here. So this should go like this. Cool. So we're basically just doing the opposite again of what we just did. Go ahead and tighten this in real quick. Why do I feel like I'm missing it? It is not tightening. Thank you for that, Average. That definitely helped. I just don't want to, like, if I don't have to, I'd prefer not to have to redo a portion of it. All right. I'm sorry you guys don't have music. That sucks. Like, I'm really bummed. It kind of threw off my groove. I feel like if this was the Emperor's New Groove, my groove has been thrown off. Okay, so neither of these are very tight. I want them to be movable, but that way you guys can see kind of where we're at right now. These are still free to slide because we are going to align them. We're going to align them a little bit later on, but we've got the one side that has the two preloaded nuts, which is going to be the bottom, and then this is the top side, which doesn't have the two preloaded nuts. And so the next I believe we're actually going to start having to confirm measurements, and so that's when we'll tighten things down. So this is where we're at on page 23. Page 24 is now the H extrusions, and it says build on a flat surface, which is awesome because we have this marble. And then let's see, so H extrusion should be the one, I think, with two holes. Let's verify that. Oops. H. Yeah, so H has the two holes. So let's go ahead and grab. Let's go grab H extrusions. All right. I'm gonna confirm one last thing. Another thing again, take your time. take your time with all this stuff, because disassembling or like realizing you screwed something up later on with this build is incredibly frustrating, just because there's no shortcut. Like, you really have to disassemble a lot to get back to where you need to be. So we are here for the printer. New music is extra. Thank you. I appreciate that. So now we are going to, so the H extrusions have 2 holes, right? And those 2 holes are going to give us access to being able to tighten the screws on the end here. And so we're going to be sliding this along the edge like so. And then I'm going to actually clear some space, because the main thing here is making sure that our frame is square. And it really helps if those nut traps aren't as tight as these ones are. It's almost ridiculous. Okay, so I'm going to start off by taking the Allen key through the hole on the outside and kind of tightening it. We're not going to fully tighten it though, because I'm going to have to use, I've got a machinist square that I'm going to use to make sure that I've got 90-degree angles on the corners. Let me see here. Okay, so that one is relatively tight, but not too tight. And then this guy, how's your build going, DC? Okay. And then I'm going to take the other H extrusion and slide it on this side. And again, just you'll know right away, but the holes need to be where the screws are, so that way you can actually get your Allen key in. So we will slide, and then get this. Just hand tight for now. Sick. Okay. Okay, assemble on a flat surface or glass or granite. We've got marble, which will do. You and Vector 3D fighting for the Vorons. Oh, is he building his right now? He's in Europe, right? I guess it would, wait, isn't it? It's super late in Europe right now, right? I think it's like, I don't know what time it is. I mean, I guess it depends on where in Europe, but I forgot he's building his Vor. He's ahead of me. I know he started streaming at least a day or two in advance. That's kind of a bummer. I don't want to, like, yeah, oh, I definitely didn't plan for that. Okay, so build on flat surface, check. So the next thing we want to do is make sure that the edges are at 90 degrees. So I've got a little, oh, 9 p.m. That's not too late then. I wasn't sure. So I've got a little machinist square that I bought, and so I'm just going to use this to verify that the edges are at 90 degrees. So let's go ahead and go to the side cam. Taking your advice, watching, and we'll pick up right after. Had a couple things come up and want to make sure I'm taking my time. Gotcha. Yeah, I definitely, my goal with this is definitely to take my sweet time. I'd rather, again, like, we're all hanging out, and anybody that watches after the fact, if they want to get like just a specific portion, they can jump around, which is the nice thing about the video on demand. Okay, so we got my little square, so we're going to tighten this. It's looking really square on this side. That looks good. It also looks pretty damn square. I actually have never owned a square before building a Voron, believe it or not. I saw Jordan on his stream with it, and it was like, yeah, it's probably a good idea. I should probably have a square if I'm going to be building this little guy. Okay, so this side of the frame should be square. That looks good. That still looks good. I'm going to tighten this one here more. Ah. Okay. Confirm, still good. Where is 3 p.m. in Saskatchewan? And then we'll do the same thing for this side, just make sure it's square, everything is lined up. Then I'm going to use the long end to tighten it. Confirm the bottom. Looks good. And then torque everything down. And then once we've got this, we need to check our measurements. So let me see here. Okay, so that frame looks golden. Now what we need to do is check to see, adjust the position of the Z rails to match the dimensions shown on the right. Ensure the extensions are parallel to each other as well. Will help with tramming the Z. For best results, only measure from the left extrusion as shown in the picture. So I wish these slid a little bit more, because for tramming the Z, like, it's kind of annoying that they're so tight, but let me see here. So it wants 58 millimeters from the outside. Let's see. So from right here to right here, we want 58 millimeters. And let me see. I think the easiest way to do this again, 50, oh, it's, damn, that is actually very close. 55, 56, 57. It looks like it needs to be a hair, maybe just a hair further. Yeah, that looks nearly perfect. I'm trying to think though, if I'm going to be tramming, I don't think I fully want to tighten any of this down yet though, until I see that the bed is going to be sliding up and down. So we're gonna, let's see. Yeah, so I'm gonna let it, don't forget to tighten all those little screws too. God. So I've measured, and it's basically right at 58 mil from the left side of this extrusion, or from the right side of this extrusion to the left side of this one. But I'm not gonna fully tighten it down until I've got the bed on here sliding up and down. And then we want from the inside, or from the right side of this one to the left side of that one, should be 54 millimeters. So let's go ahead and confirm that. That is way off. What did you say, 54? Yeah, it's way off. Okay. It is actually like right at 54 on the bottom, and on the top, and the top it needs to go a little bit more. It's basically 54. Okay, we're gonna leave it like that, which it's not fully tight because I wanna make sure that the bed is sliding up and down, and if these need to be adjusted ever so slightly, having them torqued down is not good. So we will leave it like that for a second. 54, 58. Okay, cool. So we're good on that. Next, we are going to install the linear rail stoppers on the bottom, which is a piece of cake. All right, let's go side. So we need M3 nuts. Actually, I think I already have two. Let's see. So we're going to use two M3 nuts. Again, I'm using square. It doesn't matter whether you're using square or not. And then for this instance, I'm also not going to use the nut trap because I want to get these nuts as close to the linear rails as possible. And earlier we discovered by using the nut trap, there's a slight gap, which is probably fine, but I don't want to chance it. So we're going to be sliding these into the tops. So right here, and one on the other rail right here. And then we're going to take these guys, which are the little stoppers, so that way this linear rail won't be able to fly off the rail. And we're going to take M3x8 button head screws. I'll take two of these. Oops, 1, 2. Pushing these through. For some reason, when I did a, in my head, counted or thought, how long will it take for us to get the frame put together? I thought we'd be further along. I'm proud of the progress we've made, but for some reason I thought we'd be further along. Oops. Okay. So now that these are both in, we could technically remove these little guys because the linear rails now will not be able to fly off the ends. But I'm just going to leave them on. I'm just going to leave them on for now, I think. But you can take them off technically. That was an easy page. Let's see what the next page is. Okay, so next we are going to be taking the two parts of the bed. So the one part that we already messed with earlier, which is the one that required the heat inserts as well as the little end of the cable clip, and then the other bed piece, and we're going to actually attach those to the linear rails. Carefully apply a small amount of thread locker to the screws, hidden screws. I am not going to apply thread lock. And the reason for that is, again, the last time I did that, it cracked a lot of pieces. Not these pieces in particular, but I'm not going to do that. So that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. And I know that LSE said, as well as I think Zen, that there is an alternative to Loctite that you can use, which is called, what is that stuff called? Hey, Zara, what's going on, man? What the hell is the name of that stuff? I can't find it right now, and it's frustrating. Permatex. So I would say if you're going to use something, use Permatex. I'm not going to use any thread locker on this particular part because I don't think it's necessary on the bed. But again, if you are going to use it, then definitely use something like Permatex, because the regular thread locker or Loctite does not play nicely with ABS parts. Okay, Permatex orange, cool. Yeah, so I'm bypassing it again, but if you are watching this after the fact, I'm not saying that I recommend doing that, but just don't use Loctite. So we are going to... why does this look off? There we go. Okay. There's something you can use instead of thread lock. It's called clear nail polish. Does nail polish really work? I don't know if Erin doesn't really wear nail polish and she's not home. I don't want to go through her stuff. But it's fine. We're gonna use the M2x8s, and this is the socket heads. Let's see, M2x8 socket heads. Man, these guys are tiny. Did you miss anything fun? No, other than our music dying, man. My AirPods died, and so it killed the music on the stream. But they're charging, so hopefully we'll get music in a bit. Okay, so for this, there are 4 screws on each one that need to go into. I always use nail polish. I tried it. It works like a charm, and you can get it. No shit. I am going to get nail polish then after this stream. There are 4 screws you need to go through. They are the M2x8 socket heads, and you won't be able to access one of them. So you basically need to, let me show you if I can try to show you guys this. So you need to drop it. This is really tough to show. You need to drop it into this hole right here. I'm going to attempt to do that. And then from the front of the printed part, there is a tiny little access hole right here, and that's where you shove the Allen key through to actually be able to tighten it. Nice, okay. Maker is saying my timer is about to go off in 2 minutes. I'm gonna actually just grab one of the AirPods out of the charger and see if we can't make it work. Give me 1 second. Alexa, cancel timer.
30-minute timer canceled on Daniel's second Echo Dot.
All right, let's see. Okay, it's on in my ear. Let's see if I can really quickly... Sound settings. Nope, it should be under Bluetooth. Bluetooth. AirPods, connect. Still not hearing any. Huh. Desktop audio. Nope, I don't hear. I got no audio. Do you guys hear audio? Like as far as music, I mean? That sucks. No music. Yeah, I don't hear any music either. I have a thought, okay? And I want to hear what you guys think. Let me go ahead and share my screen again. So my game plan for today was to finish the frame. And we are currently here. We need to install these bed pieces. Bed goes on there. Bed screws, sliding side screws, across the way. We still have probably an hour and a half, I would say at least. So my thought, and I want to hear what you guys think, is to possibly end the stream now so that way I could take a break and go eat some food, and I can let these charge for like another, let's say it's maybe charge for an hour and come back at 3:30 my time, which would be an hour and 10 minutes from now, and carry on the stream. And that way we'll have music, everyone can take a break, I can get some food in my belly, and then we can carry on and finish up at least the frame portion, because I definitely want to finish that. What are your guys' thoughts? Let me know. If you guys say nay, we'll carry on for right now. But I'm kind of thinking that that might be the better option. Maker says he's down. DC, I'm good with that. Would it be 11:30 CET? 11:30 CET? What is CET? I don't know. So it'd be 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard. Perfect timing, just taking lunch too. Okay, let's do that then. Because I thought we'd be further along to where we'd be able to be done by 3 o'clock, but that's not the case. And so the fact that I can eat, take a little breather, get the music working again, and then we can come back and like be refreshed and knock it out, I think that sounds like the best plan. So thank you guys for hanging out. Hopefully all of you will be able to come back at least at some point a little bit later on, and maybe we can catch some other people. Put the camera on the green beast. No, I'm gonna end the stream, man. Oh, we'll be back. So I will be back in about an hour. If you can't come back, then thanks for hanging out for as much as you guys did. But yeah, I'll be back at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. We're gonna finish up the frame. We're gonna have music, and we are going to rock.